All right, welcome everybody to our post-Silent Hill 3 podcast, wrap-up podcast. Keith and I here with special guests.
A post-mortem?
A post-mortem, good one. With special guest Bob, a.k.a. Kamek, a.k.a. Tortoise on Tour, a.k.a. a million other things, creator of YouTube Reacts series and known for Silent Hill Let's Playing / other things.
Mostly / other things.
/ other things.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Not much. We finished Silent Hill 3 recently.
Oh no!
And now we're it's
that's how we felt.
Too bad it's over. Now we're here to talk about it with you. And I think also I really want to just get into some discussion of Silent Hill in general. Obviously, there's more Silent Hill games than just Silent Hill 3, but I feel like the first 3 are really the core ones that everyone cares about. So it's, even though in a way we're not done at all with the Silent Hill series, but we are sort of done with.
We're done with the ones that we have to care about.
We're done with a subset series of Silent Hill. Essentially, it's kind of like a trilogy. In a way.
Did Team Silent do The Room, or was this the last Team Silent one?
Team Silent did do The Room.
Okay.
Technically?
This
is one of those things where you get into a gray area, but the main core Team Silent did 1, 2, and 3, and then a few of them stuck around for 4, but it's one of those things where Team Silent was always a nebulous thing anyway. Like, the members were constantly fluctuating. You know, some people from 1 didn't make it to 2, some people from 2 didn't make it to 3, and a lot, I hesitate to say a lot, but quite a few. I'm thinking, actually, I don't want to commit to any number, but
because essentially
was not
seven people.
Right. Yeah, essentially Team Silent, I would assume, it's just the name that they gave to whoever was making Silent Hill at the time.
Exactly. And a lot of fans seem to think that that's anyone who's Japanese, so...
Because I see all the time, like, it's not even made by Team Silent, who cares? But you're saying that it doesn't matter whether or not it's made by Team Silent because Team Silent was not a certain group of people.
Well, technically, you know, when it was first done in Silent Hill 1, you could say that those people who were on that team, but what I'm saying is basically it was a Konami thing. It was just a name. It was just like... You know, someone working on Ubisoft, working on their next game, you know, they've got a certain name for the project that they're working on. It's just that they tried to maintain the name, so it's a weird nebulous thing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's people trying to assign some sort of authorship of Silent Hill to Team Silent, but it's a more nebulous thing than that.
Exactly.
It doesn't really.
Well,
okay, I get it.
Isn't there like a core of like 3 people? There was like the art director and probably, I don't know, some kind of game something. Like could you run through quickly like what are like the 3 big people names for the first 3 games?
I don't want to the specifics of it get a little bit gray because my brain is not really the best at remembering all these like little minutia, but I can tell you I believe that Masahiro Ito was working on all of the games. I believe he also worked on 4. I'd have to double check that. I'm going to take that back. I'm pretty sure he was not. I could look it up real quick, actually. Oh, wait, no, my Chrome's fucked up,
So forget it. Anyway.
What?
It's...
I guess the crux of this podcast is going to be that... Bob, you're a Silent Hill. You associate with Silent Hill fans, and you are a Silent Hill fan yourself.
Unfortunately,
and we played these Silent Hill games, and we liked a lot of parts of them. But I think maybe we don't like what Silent Hill actually is. So, Kyle, we want to figure out like what it is if we're missing something, and we want to hear like the weird super lore stuff that we have no idea about because we'd have to have played these games a bunch of times.
So basically I'm on here so that you guys can yell at me about how shit Silent Hill is.
Yeah, kinda.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Okay.
I don't necessarily agree about that. I just, for a long time, I've been wanting to sit down with you and just talk about Silent Hill.
Oh, yeah.
I also want to talk about the Silent Hill community, because I know you know about that, and that's weird. I want to know about Twin Perfect.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Bob and I talked about Twin Perfect.
Oh, no.
Tell me about Twin Perfect.
We'll get to them.
Okay.
But yeah, some of the fans, I spend an inordinate amount of time with the Silent Hill community. I'm friends with a lot of the people there. I actually got me and fellow Silent Hill commentator Voidburger, who I am actually working with on a Silent Hill series, basically detailing all of the little mysteries about Silent Hill called The Great Debate. Like it on Facebook.
Cool.
Plug over. We sort of spending time with all the people. We actually, both her and I got credited on Book of Memories, which a lot of people didn't really like, but it was
cool.
It was kind of neat. So
what was your credit? Like special thanks?
Yeah, it turned out that the guy, one of the guys who worked on the game, like in order to get into, hi Train. Sorry, I should have warned you guys in advance. I am right near a train track, and Train is a special commentator on a lot of the things that I do.
Great.
But essentially, Tom Hewlett is. I talk with him quite a bit. He was sort of the face, if you will, of the Silent Hill series, which in some ways was unfortunate for him. But Jeremy Blaustein, I've talked to him many, many times. He's a great guy. Super cool dude. He was actually the translator for Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, Silent Hill 4. He also did some of the Metal Gear Solid games.
Cool.
We had someone in our thread that was like, hey, if you have any weird questions about the puzzles, because he did the puzzle translation for Silent Hill 3.
Oh, wait, really? I totally missed that.
Yeah, you missed that comment? Yeah, there was someone in Silent Hill 3 thread that was like, yeah, I did a lot of the translation for this game, mostly puzzles. So if there's anything weird about any of the stuff, let me know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can't remember his name though.
Yeah,
it was very early on in the thread, so we could look it up and.
Yeah, though, Bob, you mentioned Tom Hewlett, and I think that goes along with like the Twin Perfect thing. I'm kind of interested to talk about him and
I don't really know who Tom Hewlett is.
What happened with him?
Oh man,
Tom Hewlett was he was like Bob said, kind of the face of Silent Hill at Konami for the past few games, and he's kind of become he left Konami recently. But it was kind of became like, as far as I could tell, like a straw man for all Silent Hill fans that were not pleased with the current direction of Silent Hill.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Because I didn't know that guy existed, but I assumed that he would. Because, people really, really like to get mad at Silent Hill stuff.
Yeah. It's
about how it's not what they want it to be.
Yeah,
it seems like one of those series. It's a lot like Sonic in that way. Sonic fans love to get mad about the things that their series isn't.
I think we mentioned that on Twitter. Actually, you and me, Keith, or drawing a lot of similarities between the Silent Hill fandom and the Sonic fandom.
Yeah,
which was total accident that happened.
I know. I don't remember the specifics of what it was, but I felt like there was some point. Like when we started doing Silent Hill as a side thing for next to our Sonic, our hope was like, we can do a series that won't have crazy fans. Like we can just very quickly realized how incredibly wrong we were. But it was kind of hilarious in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure you guys get your fair share of hilarious YouTube comments. Yeah. Actually, I think I've seen some of them.
We had, my favorite was, there's this guy who, from starting with the second episode of our Silent Hill 2 Let's Play up until the 10th episode had, and this is, the Let's Play was like a year and a half old, and these are, week-old comments or month-old comments, slowly getting more and more aggressive towards us about the Let's Play, starting with, this is really funny, good episode, and going towards, you guys are fucking idiots, stupid idiots, I hate you and everything. Like, it was really, really fun for us.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because you mentioned the YouTube Reacts stuff that I've done, by the way, with you guys.
Yeah.
Including a amazing conversation that was about Silent Hill that people should check out if they haven't already.
I love that video. That's a really great video.
Sorry, guys. Can we take a quick pause?
Sure.
Oh yeah, sure.
By the way, one of the most recent comments on the top of the YouTube Argues thing is, after hearing this conversation played out by two actual people, the full pathetic weight of it all hits you like a truck.
Oh man, I love that comment. I linked that.
That's a really good comment.
I linked it on Twitter too. Oh, that was fun. That was I like that person.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Is that someone that you've seen comment?
No.
On your okay.
Some of these people just drop in from random places. I don't know where they're coming from.
Okay. Yeah. Man, yes, that was weird. I'm excited to talk about Twin Perfect.
I am as well. Actually, one of the reasons why I'm a little bit less than enthusiastic when I talk is because I'm constantly, because the way that the Silent Hill community works, I'm like constantly second guessing myself in order to make sure that everything I say is right. Because if you don't say one fucking thing right, you will get an army of angry nerds jumping down your throat so quick.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah. I know all about it.
It's like fucking ridiculous. And I have a comment that I want to bring up during the podcast. Okay. But
and you also, I wasn't sure if you had forgotten about this. I wanted to remind you there was a thing that this is like a month ago, that you had brought up to me that you wanted to bring up on this podcast, which was like some theory about Silent Hill that some people have.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. The what I'm calling the science experiment. I definitely want to, and you guys you haven't really like dipped into the Silent Hill pool, the fan pool. So I definitely,
not at all. Yeah.
So I definitely want to get your guys like raw reaction to all that stuff, because that's why I watch you guys. It's all about the raw reaction to these things and how they hold up these days. And, I'll talk about it later, but
yeah, we got a comment that I want to find because I want to quote it when we start talking about that. About, God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
I'm second guessing myself about Jeremy Blaustein being in Silent Hill 4. And right here it says, for Silent Hill 4, IGN said, one of the best changes in the series since its humble beginning is the improvement in voice work. Even since Silent Hill 3, the voice work in this version has markedly improved. Conversations are much more realistic and fluid. The dialogue has improved to stay and keep with the voiceover work. Furthermore, Gaming Target said, however, it's definitely a blah, 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 blah. Basically, this is all on a wiki article for Jeremy Blaustein, meaning he did do the voice work for Silent Hill 4, which I fucking know, but I'm constantly second guessing myself because of these goddamn nerds.
I think that you should just say whatever the fuck you want, and if it's wrong, they'll yell at you and then forget about it in a minute.
See, that's the thing.
They get so angry, and then it's all gone, and then they just have a new thing to get angry about in a minute.
Right. Oh, man. I know that the comment about Team Silent is going to piss people off, too, because they're so militant about that shit. When in reality, it's all nebulous. Like Actually, I think I have like a Silent Hill.
Well, here's the good thing. I don't, unless you start linking it, I don't think there's going to be any Silent Hill nerds listening. Okay. Or at least there's not going to be any Silent Hill nerds that also aren't fans of our videos. Because, like, we just don't get that kind of...
we get the more casual viewer.
Yeah, well, we have some super hardcore Silent Hill fans that watch,
and I know you guys have been linked on. I think the Silent Hill Reddit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's the people that there are people, we've gotten comments from people that were like, yeah, I used to be super into Silent Hill, and now I'm not. And those people are always really fun. And then there's people that that were super into Silent Hill, and then our videos made them not be. Which was crazy. Which, or at least they're not like they're not into Silent Hill. They just realize like, oh, maybe being mean about Silent Hill isn't worthwhile anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's new. I haven't been keeping up with that. But then again, I'm more on the like bleeding edge, I guess, of all these ridiculous diehard fans who just refuse to die. I guess that's why Die Hard. And I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at this now. Key members: Hiroyuki Iwaku did Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, credited for writing some lyrics of Silent Hill 4 songs, and then Imamura, who did programmer for Silent Hill, producer of Silent Hill 2, and sub-producer 4. So he completely skipped over 3. Ito, who was in Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, and the background designer, special thanks on 4. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he did 1. He was a monster designer on all of them. I should mention that. But, yeah. It's hard to keep all this stuff in your head. Sato only did 1 and 2. See, most of these guys did like 1 or 2 games out of the 4. So it's like, it's so ridiculous to claim that like, oh, Team Silent. Like, oh, there's a Team Silent. No, there fucking isn't. Yeah. It's whoever was working on the goddamn game.
I don't know anything about it, but I bet that there are people from Team Silent that worked on non-Team Silent Hill games, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's gotta be.
Okay, let me see if I got that right. Members of Team Silent who worked on games that were not part of the Team Silent, like the games that Team Silent worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Siren. Another game you guys should definitely check out. I haven't played it.
I misheard what you said. I mean, members of Team Silent who worked on non-Team Silent Hill games. So like, the people like the monster designer, and I'm just spitting out random. Dude. Yeah.
Ito, monster designer, he worked, 4 is considered not really a Team Silent game, which is like fucking weird.
You guys are talking about Silent Hill.
No, we're talking about certain logistical things that I want to make sure that are gotten specifically right, because I already made a mistake by not saying Masahiro Ito wasn't involved on Silent Hill 1, so I just want to...
Ooh.
Yeah.
How dare.
Fans are going to fucking flip out, man.
Yeah. He's afraid people that know who he is are going to get real mad at him.
Because I'm working on a series that's basically like, hey, these are all of the things, like we're going through each and every fucking game and listing out all of the things, so.
You're making a series about incredibly specific facts about Silent Hill, so you might as well get those facts that you're saying here correct.
Exactly, so.
Yeah. I can't find this. I was trying to look for one specific comment, but I can't find it.
But don't worry, Kyle. We're saving the good shit. This is just stupid.
Yeah, we haven't even dug into Twin Perfect yet.
No. I'm saving that. Saving it.
Can we talk about that guy's haircut? What's with his hair?
He has
the
weird
triangle part.
God. It's such a weird hair. Get your hair game right before you start talking about Silent Hill, man.
You're talking all this shit about other people when your hair looks like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like you have a penis for a head. Like fix that shit, and then come back to me.
It just looks like someone ran out of money halfway through making a man.
Oh, dude, you don't even know the half of it. They did a review for Silent Hill Downpour, and they filmed in their house or some shit, and the wall they're fucking filming in front of, it's just like covered in like semen or something, like fucking disgusting grease stains are all over the fucking wall, and it's like, dude, why don't you I don't know, paint
dirty
that
house.
shit, put a cover on it? I don't know.
You're getting way more caustic than I expected.
What's that?
I said Bob is getting way more caustic towards Twin Perfect than I expected.
No, that's why I don't like to talk about them, because they're just so
they just make you so mad.
I've heard Bob get really mad at Twin Perfect.
Well, we'll talk about this later, but yeah,
I'm now upset that you've gotten to experience this before me.
I don't remember really any of it. I don't remember the specifics. I just remember how much I agreed that they seemed like the worst.
Yeah. There's more. And there's actually an interaction that we had, Keith, on Twitter that I don't think you're remembering, but I will remind you that confirmed just how shitty they are.
Oh, I remember exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Since other people are going to listen to this, we should probably start being more specific about what we're talking about.
Sure.
Twin Perfect, and Bob, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Twin Perfect is a duo or group.
It's a group,
and it's a group that specializes in making videos about Silent Hill, specifically 1 and 2.
Well, I think they do a lot of stuff, a lot of different games, but they are known for being fans of Silent Hill.
Yeah, quote unquote fans. Basically, what they do is they've gone through. They made a video series called The Real Silent Hill Experience, and the whole idea of it is to go through the games and basically document. They actually called it a documentary at first, but then they changed that to a quote unquote review series. But the whole idea was to go through all of the nuances of the games and sort of document the lore, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Silent Hill is extremely confusing. And like for the casual gamer just coming into it and trying to maybe get into, I don't know, Silent Hill 3, it's kind of a confusing, ridiculous mess of nonsense and ridiculousness. So
that's a good thing to call it, I guess.
So what they decided to do was basically make a FAQ style like series, which essentially aimed at saying, I know more about Silent Hill than you, and you don't know as much Silent Hill, don't know enough about Silent Hill, and let me teach you about it. Which is funny because of some of the things that they say. So I'm not even going to get into that, but from the base, I want to get your guys' reaction. Like, have you seen these videos?
I watched about half an hour of one specific video that you linked, where basically they spent a really long time making fun of the people that watched their videos.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Was that difficult to watch?
Oh, yeah, it was very difficult to watch.
Okay.
It was the worst. I hated it.
Okay. You were saying something?
I've seen bits and pieces. I think mostly, if I remember correctly, it was that I found out about them like when we were in the middle of Silent Hill 1, so I couldn't really watch most of their stuff because it was like filled with spoilers.
Right.
But I've definitely seen parts of it. I've seen, I mean, it doesn't really have their personalities, but they're like Silent Hill 2, the movie, where they just edit the game together so that you can just watch all of Silent Hill 2 in like 2 hours or something.
Right, yeah.
And I specifically remember I found out about it because you were tweeting about it, but they put out a video and they told everybody to downvote the video if you didn't like the thing that they were complaining about, like cleverly avoiding the problem of people downvoting it because it was actually an awful video or something like that.
Right, exactly. Now that video, I will say, and I don't want to seem like, you know, I'm completely blinded by my hatred for Twin Perfect. Look, they're just dudes. Their shtick is being caustic.
They're but men.
They are but men. Okay.
Yeah.
No, they're butt men.
Oh, they're butt men. Oh, yeah. I get it. I see what you did there. Classy.
Not a gay joke.
No, that would be bad and insensitive.
They're just stinky. They just stink.
They just stink.
Wanted to be clear.
The one guy has a dick for a head. So, but what was I saying? God damn it.
He looks like he has braces, even though he doesn't have braces. What's that about?
Don't ask me, man.
He doesn't have braces?
I don't think so. He just looks like he does.
I think he does.
All right.
Oh, really? Maybe he has clear see-through braces. Look, I don't want this to be about how they look. It's just they're the worst.
Yeah, I mean, we can. Looks are easy. It's going after the facts.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember another video that I saw of theirs that was it was the guy with the guy with the hair, the bad hair.
Fungo is his name.
No way. It is no way that is his name.
That is his name. Fungo.
All right, great.
Like
Fungo.
Like goodbye, fun. Goodbye, fun. Have fun. I will see you later, fun. Fungo.
It was Fungo was talking to some girl about Silent Hill stuff. Like a Skype podcast, like a video Skype podcast, and was just being so rude to her. Like,
yes.
Like crazy rude. That's another video that I saw of theirs. They were talking about I can't remember what it was. I don't know. It was some dumb
guy. Forget his name. Oh, what's his name? Oh no, this is bad.
That's exactly. You're right. Yeah, it was the Metal Gear Solid guy talking about Silent Hill and how they were like, it was Kojima. They're talking about how it's stupid that anyone would think that Kojima would work on a Silent Hill game,
which is fucking weird because Kojima has said numerous times, like, "Hey, I'm interested," and actually, the head of Konami was said to be talking to him about all of that stuff, and it makes perfect sense because he's trying to use his new engine with that stuff. I think the point that they were trying to make was like, just because they say these things doesn't mean it's going to come true. And the only thing Kojima was trying to say was that he wants to have his engine used. Yeah, for the game.
He wants the Fox engine to be on Silent Hill.
Which is like fine, but at the same time, Kojima has said...
The way they were doing it was they were saying... It's fine to say like, it doesn't mean anything, but what they were saying was, it doesn't mean anything, and if you think that maybe it does, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. You're a stupid idiot.
Like, anyway, that was not Fungo. That was Rossiter.
Oh, so they both have bad hair. Okay.
Again, easy but hilarious. So, I don't know if I want to say this, but I'll say it anyway, and you can cut it off if it's proven to be wrong. But I believe that the woman he's talking to is his girlfriend. So it is even more weird that he's talking down to her in such a strange way.
Now,
I couldn't watch it. It was just.
I appreciate your offer of letting us do more work to edit out your wrong thing, but I just want to make it clear for anyone listening that just because it was left in doesn't mean it's true. We are absolutely not going to fact check that.
Okay.
And I just want to say that anything that I say here it could be wrong, because there is a lot of stuff that I am keeping track of for the Great Debate that my brain just, I've got so many things going on. And even, just now I just fact checked myself, and Ito was monster designer of Silent Hill 1. And I knew that, but I just didn't say Silent Hill 1. So, or maybe I did. I don't know. My memory's weird. Anyways.
Yeah. Whether or not he is, Silent Hill 1 is still, all the monsters look the same. It looks like they were designed by the same guy. So if they were, then good job. And if they weren't, then good job to whoever replaced.
No, wasn't it, weren't the monsters in Silent Hill 3 not designed by the same person?
Ito was designed, I'm looking at it right now, just to make sure that my brain is on sync, but Ito was the monster designer of Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, here's where I just went wrong. I somehow just got that confused in my head with Dark Souls, because the monster designer of Dark Souls 2 is different from Dark Souls 1.
Oh, that makes sense. The monsters do look a tad different.
Yeah.
But actually, the thing that might have clued you in to the whole continuity thing is, do you remember they were called the Closers from Silent Hill 3?
The Closers. Oh, yeah. They were the guys with the sword arms.
Yeah. The big, what are they called? The glove hands, and then they've got the little spike that comes out of them.
Not the sword guys. The ones that were in the game from the beginning, the really tall guys with the giant arms.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those guys. No, those things. I want to say they were missionaries. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah. I haven't played Silent Hill 3 in a while, so I actually played through the HD collection in order to get all the stuff together for the Great Debate. But anyways.
The monster design my opinion of the monster design in Silent Hill 3 is kind of convincing me that I can't be pleased, because I looked at the monsters in Silent Hill 2 and I was like, these are too boring. And then I saw the monsters in Silent Hill 3. I was like, these are too monsterish and extravagant.
No, I totally agree with you. I'm 100% with you that they need to find a middle ground. Because I can't, the game is so dark that I can't look at any of the monsters from Silent Hill 3 and tell what the fuck they are. They just look like a bunch of moving parts.
They are a little busy.
They're a little busy.
Their cancer is just way too insane.
Yeah. Just wicked insane cancer.
I just want to reiterate this for the millionth time. I am so sad that we floated I went to Silent Hill and all I got was this insane cancer t-shirt idea, and nobody responded positively.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I seriously considered making that for you guys. I seriously considered that, but you know what I spent my time on instead?
Hating Twin Perfect?
YouTube Argues.
Oh, there you go.
So, which is the video that you both were in, which should check out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Definitely.
And the thing that I wanted to say when I was talking about that, I guess we're doing the YouTube the podcast thing now, but you can. Anyway, the reason why the very first YouTube Reacts, the whole inception for the idea of making fun of comments on the internet was to the fan reactions to Silent Hill Downpour.
Right. Because I think that was also my introduction to just how crazy Silent Hill fans are, I saw that video and went, oh.
And that was all Facebook, so, I mean, we didn't even trudge through the YouTube comments for that one. But yeah, that's where that came from.
Do you feel like you've been taken hostage by your own commitment to the Silent Hill franchise?
Yes. I feel like sometimes when I'm talking about this stuff,
Silent Hill, when you talk about Silent Hill, you sound like a hostage communicating with the police under duress.
That's actually very apt.
There's kind of this tone of like, I know a lot about this and I ostensibly like it, but really it's more that I can't stop. And so I'm going to sadly tell you about it all.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because that's how I feel. So I guess it's coming out in my voice. But
see, I in a way I almost feel like that about like Sonic, where it's kind of like, I mean, I'm a Sonic fan, but I guess I'm just like the Sonic guy.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm in the lucky position to not feel that way about anything.
Okay.
You're just along for the ride, aren't you?
I'm just along for all these weird rides.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
I guess it's more like it's like I like Sonic, but people also know me for liking Sonic, so people always ask me about my opinions of Sonic things, and I kind of have to follow it anyway. So it's just sort of like, it's not that it bothers me, but I have no choice but to just be in Sonic.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well,
the most I get is people sometimes tweet me pictures of people who painted Sonic on their car.
Anyone painting Pyramid Head on their car?
Oh man, there's got to be somebody.
Let's see. Let's Google image of Pyramid Head car.
Or made
Pyramid Head car.
A Pyramid Head helmet car.
That's. Oh man.
That's
the thing that I'm really embarrassed about now, is how like we were waiting for Pyramid Head throughout all of Silent Hill 1.
Pyramid Head was so...
And now now I know that like there's a million Silent Hill fans that saw that and were just like, what a bunch of fucking assholes.
Oh, you went a totally different way than I went. The thing that I was going for was when we finally got to Pyramid Head in Silent Hill 2, it was super nothing, and who cares?
Oh, man.
I mean, Pyramid Head is cool, but it's like the one thing I knew about Silent Hill going into it was about Pyramid Head and how people think he's super cool, but he's in like none of it. He's
Pyramid
like
Head is pretty cool.
He's pretty cool, but like he's like
in
none
Homecoming,
of Silent
right?
Hill is about Pyramid Head.
He's in Homecoming.
Technically, they pulled a funny trick with that. And please do not blame this on Tom Hewlett. He only tried to salvage that game. Go ahead and listen to the various podcasts where he is interviewed with, I think it's on Silent Hill Historical Society, where he details the whole process behind Homecoming and how it came to be the ridiculous nonsense bullshit that it is. But basically... he was against the idea of Pyramid Head being in Homecoming from the get-go. But it was built because the director at the time wanted him in there, and he wanted it to be like this ridiculous like ode to all of the games that came before. And at the very end, there would be like a dramatic battle between Alessa and the kid from the game, Josh. And it would literally like I believe Tom described it as a Dragon Ball Z fight where they fight over Lake Toluca or Toluca Lake. Sorry, but
jeez.
And basically Tom came in there and was like, what the fuck? No. And so he dumbed it down to the point where it was at least passable. Because Homecoming is bad. It's my least favorite Silent Hill, but at least it's not as bad as what that was. What was the original idea. But one of the ways that he salvaged it was instead of Pyramid Head, it's not technically Pyramid Head. His name is the Boogeyman. So... he actually has a lot of differences between the Silent Hill 2 Pyramid Head and whatever the hell it came up with. Like basically they saw the movie, the Silent Hill movie, and the original Pyramid Head, and tried to do like a middle ground between those guys.
Was it your? I don't know if it was you or Voidburger or someone completely different, but like the Something Awful thread was like, let's play Silent Hill, the movie, the game, something.
that was me. That was my Homecoming LP.
I mean, I don't know that I'm necessarily against Pyramid Head being in more than Silent Hill 2. Like, I get it, he's kind of tied to that one. Like, I don't think Pyramid Head would fit in Silent Hill 3, but I don't think like if he was in another game that would bother me, as long as it made sense, kinda. Like, if it was framed in the same kind of way that it was in 2. Maybe I just don't know enough about Silent Hill lore. Don't realize how egregious that would be.
I'm sorry, how egregious what would be?
to have Pyramid Head in another game besides 2.
It's funny that you say that, because that's actually a question that's brought up by Twin Perfect and many other diehard Silent Hill fans. And essentially what a lot of people came to the conclusion was that spoilers for Silent Hill 2, Pyramid Head is a manifestation of James' sort of guilt and a lot of his repressed feelings about having to kill his wife. And because of that, he's inexorably
linked to James,
tied to James. But Masahiro Ito, the guy who created Pyramid Head, has said on Twitter, and I believe in a few other places, that Silent Hill has the ability to retain the information from the creatures that it manifests. So what he's saying is basically Silent Hill has the DNA code for Pyramid Head. It knows Pyramid Head. So technically, it can create more Pyramid Heads in other games.
What you just said just completely, I just realized, there was a whole layer of Silent Hill that I wasn't seeing until you just said that. I didn't realize.
I thought we were both on the same page with that. I mean, if Pyramid Head was tied to James because of his whole story, then why would he even be in the weird, crazy nightmare Silent Hill? If he can see Silent Hill, but Silent Hill is also a place, but also Harry Mason can see Silent Hill, and also it's all. I mean, it's like this.
I guess what I mean is that maybe this was just my weird thinking, but it almost seemed to me that the creators of Silent Hill never thought as deeply about the connection between different games as the fans. It almost just seemed I always assumed that Silent Hill 2 was never meant to be connected with any other game in any way.
Oh, it's interesting that you say that, because
they just, someone said what's the similarity between the town in 2 and the town in 3? It's kind of nothing.
Yeah, that does have a little bit of
I mean, if you've got a game that's all about this place that's half a place and half a nightmare, and then it changes all the time.
If you're talking about the town being able to retain information on the monsters that it has created, that's really kind of weird.
Does it sound like
a bullshit explanation for why?
Yeah, does that sound
why Pyramid Head can show up in another game?
Yeah, does that sound like that?
It does sound like that.
It just sounds like it just sounds like a way to say, we can use whoever we want in these games.
Right.
Is what it sounds like. Because it's not, I guess my point is, why do people care if Pyramid Head, if they can justify within the game why Pyramid Head is there, why do people care? Is what I mean.
Well, it's a stupid justification, and it also wasn't in the game.
No. I mean, if someone made a game, a Silent Hill game with Pyramid Head in it, and Pyramid Head was just a manifestation of their guilt of some other thing.
Yeah.
Who cares? Because they're already in Silent Hill.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was.
There are a bunch of things that are tied in with that, and I'll actually argue with you. I'll argue for that position, because I mean, you could even see it without worrying about all of the implications of what happens with the story or the plot in Silent Hill, and just see it from a marketing perspective. Pyramid Head is the best monster in any horror game. He has such staying power, such creep out factor, that why wouldn't you market him? Why wouldn't you put him in every game? And I'll guarantee you that from Konami down, the higher ups at Konami have been pushing to have him in every game since Silent Hill 2, because they know they're not stupid. They want that marketability, and
that's why Book of Memories had 1 billion Pyramid Heads.
Right. That's not to anyone's discredit either, because it's smart, but at the same time, it doesn't really, it doesn't resonate as well.
I'm saying if Pyramid Head is in all these different games and they keep on putting him in it, then I get it. But to have him in another game doesn't seem like an error, because then it gives people something to be excited about. Oh, we haven't seen Pyramid Head in years. Great, we get a new Pyramid Head thing, and then. I think the fact that it's a Silent Hill game is enough to justify having him there, because what Silent Hill, it's not, because as much as Silent Hill 2 is is kind of it's all from James. All that stuff is there from James, from his guilt.
Not all of it.
Well, not all of it, sure. But the fact that, I don't know, I think trying to apply any sort of logic to a place that is half a place and half not a place is going to get you nowhere.
Right. Literally nowhere. You got nowhere at the end of Silent Hill 1. Joke.
Right.
End. But I wanted to tie back real quick, just real quick, in order to basically wrap all this up in a nice, tidy bow. It's interesting to note that with what you were saying, Keith, earlier about Pyramid Head, why would anyone care if he's in another game? Well, it's even worse than that. Because when the Silent Hill movie came out, which was a reimagining, quote unquote, which is a word that they came up with for Shattered Memories, but I like to use it any other place because it's a fun, weird little word.
Well, I think I've heard that other places, but
exactly, like it's not whatever. Anyway, it was just like the way that they marketed Shattered Memories, like a reimagining of Silent Hill 1, which is like kind of odd, but whatever. I'm getting off on a tangent, which is kind of par for the course with Silent Hill. So,
all right.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm like one of the people who didn't really care one way or the other about them trying to redo Silent Hill 1. But anyway, I'm getting off on a huge tangent. The movie, that's creative license, like, grounds. Like, you have creative license to do whatever the hell you want with a movie.
Right.
You can base it loosely on the game. You could base it, like, directly on a game. It could be a direct, pairing with the game. But when he was announced... when Pyramid Head was announced to be in that movie, fans freaked out. And
because it wasn't...
Yeah, exactly.
Fit.
He didn't fit. But at the same time, it's a completely different medium.
Yeah.
He's in a movie. It's like even making the jump from having Pyramid Head to be in a game to be in a movie is enough to set people off and be like, oh, this isn't... And that's why I think it's a little bit more of like an affront to people's nostalgia sensors. Because, he was in Silent Hill 2. He was great in Silent Hill 2. I mean, whether, you remember that game or not, it's...
Right.
He was a mainstay. He has so much lasting power because of that game. And it's like, people just can't, like, realize that... Or not real. I don't want to get any grander with this, but basically it's sad because it's kind of limiting people's creativity, especially when it's in a freaking movie. Like, come on, guys. Let's not be so overcritical.
I didn't even realize he was in the movie because I haven't seen them. But
yeah, he's in both Silent Hill and Silent Hill Shred is what we call it. Silent Hill Revelations 3D.
Revelations.
And yes, 3D is in the title. If someone says Silent Hill Revelations, you have no idea what they're talking about. They have to say 3D.
Okay. right.
But
I would say about Pyramid Head, like, obviously I understand I understand people's feelings about how, it was a monster that was designed to specifically be about Silent Hill 2 and only part of that, and it like, I understand not wanting it to be in other things because it might not fit or it doesn't really make sense, and like, hey, can't we just have this one cool thing that existed once and not repeat it 100 times?
Oh yeah.
But when I was like an outsider who hadn't experienced anything Silent Hill 2 or forward, like, I thought he was a recurring monster.
Yeah, you probably thought like he was like Silent Hill Silent Hill's Resident Evil 3, nemesis.
Yeah, like, I thought he was in every Silent Hill game, and he was so cool that when I found out he was only in 2, I was like a little disappointed. I was like, oh, like, this guy doesn't show up more because he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and this actually.
I have a quick question about before I can't remember his name, but the dude that drags you off when you die in Silent Hill 3.
Right.
I read a lot of stuff about people who are like, no, it's Pyramid Head without its thing on.
That's exactly what I was going to talk about. So one of the things one of the reasons why I mentioned Ito saying that Silent Hill can retain the DNA of these monsters is because you guys remember the closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the I'm losing Silent Hill cred with this fast, but there was a creature that was very, very similar to it in Silent Hill 2. Basically, you never saw it beyond, it was climbing along grates. I forget. I want to say it was...
Oh, it was Silent Hill 1.
No, it was Silent Hill 2.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay.
Was it when you're climbing up a ladder in the sewers?
But yeah, I do remember what you're talking about.
It's when you come out of the hospital, and Silent Hill is turned to Otherworld. And in order to get to the other side of Silent Hill, you walk across a grate in an alleyway. and while you're walking across it, it's very easily missed. But there is a monster underneath the grate, like climbing, walking around on it.
I'm pretty sure we talked about that.
Oh, why can't I not remember its name? Oh, I'm blank. I'm sorry. Go ahead and dock me the Silent Hill cred points. It's fine.
Don't worry, Bob. We don't care.
What? Silent Hill fans that don't care?
You
guys are
real
ghosts.
fans.
Are we fans?
Are we? I don't know. If we're fans.
That's a question for you guys to answer.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I want to be kind of, because I think that this stuff that they do with story is all really interesting. But I think, Bob, what do you feel if I said this to you? Playing Silent Hill is boring.
Well, first thing, Mandarin is the name. I knew it was that name, but I kept second guessing myself because that's how being a Silent Hill fan works. You need to make sure
you're thinking of Iron Man. You're thinking of Iron Man 3.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. That was Ben Kingsley.
Oh, no. Ben Kingsley was in Silent Hill 2.
Oh, I must have missed. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that scene.
Yeah, come on. I'm talking to a Silent Hill pro here.
I think at the end of our Silent Hill 2 Let's Play, I talked about all my problems with the game at tremendous length. Yeah. But then ultimately said, like, hey, I would still call myself a Silent Hill fan or something like that, to that effect. But when we got to the end of Silent Hill 3, I was kind of like, I don't think I am. Maybe I'm a Silent Hill 1 fan.
It's really interesting that you guys... and this is part of the reason why I watch your LPs, because it's like a raw take of all of the things that, you guys don't worry about, like, catering to the fans of the game. You give the raw reactions to this.
No,
you guys are real.
The fans came out in the first 7 pages of our Silent Hill 1 thread, and we told them to fuck off, is what happened.
Well, it's interesting because I'm watching you guys play Silent Hill 3 with, like, a fresh pair of eyes, and it's really interesting to see how you guys react to it as opposed to like a fan, whereas a fan would come in and treat the whole thing like their precious baby, and saying like, oh, no, you don't understand. This part is like this. It may be flawed, but it's flawed on purpose, which is such like.
I gave up on that like at the end in Silent Hill 2. I was super against that in Silent Hill 1, was when people I was saying, the voice acting is really weird, and they were like, no, it's weird on purpose.
No.
And I kinda no, it's not.
I can tell you for a fact, and this is something that will come up in TGD, that quote from that documentary is incredibly suspect. We'll get into that. You go ahead and watch that series when it comes out. But
okay. But yeah, so there were people telling me, no, it's bad on purpose. It's like fun and silly and campy. And I didn't believe them. And then in Silent Hill 2, I wasn't sure if that was the case or not, where it was weird and bad on purpose, but I liked it more. Like it was slightly better and kind of like Twin Peaksy weird. And I still had problems with like Angela's delivery and whatever, but...
Actually, I thought that you were talking about Silent Hill 2 to begin with. If you were talking about Silent Hill 1 being weird and odd...
that's just 90s voice acting.
Yeah, you can't really do anything about that. It was stilted, and I learned this a little while ago because I was doing some research on the Metal Gear Solid games, but it's stilted because the dialogue, you have to... The way that the PlayStation 1 worked was they couldn't play dialogue like concurrently. And so you had to have certain set pieces of the voice track, the way that they coded it, to be like segmented and on their own. You couldn't have people talking like we're talking right now. You couldn't have them, voices like layered on top of each other.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Do we keep talking or?
Yeah, we can keep talking. And then when we finish this point, we'll stop. But what it sounds like for one, it was even one, people were saying, no, it's weird and stilted on purpose.
Right.
And I didn't believe them. And then for
Which
2,
is bullshit,
I still didn't,
because it's like, why can't you just let something be flawed? Like, that seems so odd.
You can like it. You don't have to defend it. You can still like it even though it's weird.
Yeah, exactly. I've got people on my Twitter feed who tell me all the time that like, oh, a Homecoming, I really liked Homecoming, and I think it's the worst game in the series, but it's like, who am I to tell them that their opinion of the game is wrong. Like, it's not. Yeah. We're not dealing in like facts here. Opinions are
But and then in 2, I still wasn't sure if I believed them. You're saying that it's still not the case because of the way that they were handling
Silent Hill 2. I don't know how they were handling loading. I'm pretty sure that they could get audio layered properly in Silent Hill 2. Actually, I know for a fact they could. But there is conclusive evidence that. All of that, like, it was not stilted on purpose. I know what the Silent Hill 2 documentary says. I know that it says that. But
I'm back?
Welcome back.
Hey, Kyle, we're just talking about literally the same thing.
Just to give a quick explanation of my sudden disappearance and why there might be people talking in the background, it's like the middle of the night, and then we just heard this, like, really sort of angry-sounding knocking at the door, but apparently it was, like, our weird neighbor that we never see who locked herself out of her house. And is trying to seek our help to get back into her house.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Anyways.
Is her husband not there?
I guess not.
No spare key?
No.
Ugh.
That's
dumb. Did you tell her she's dumb for doing that?
Put us on speaker so we can yell at her.
Yeah, bring her up here. Let's see if she's played.
Get her on the podcast. Come on.
She might be a Silent Hill fan?
She might be a Silent Hill. Yeah, we might be able to get her perspective.
She encountered
She
a
might be able to yell at Bob for getting stuff wrong.
She might be a Twin Perfect fan who can offer a counter opinion.
She encountered a locked door. That means that she's a Silent Hill fan, whether she knows about the games or not.
Oh man, locked door. Bob, I'm done with locked doors.
I made a joke in my Homecoming LP where I legitimately would like to see a Silent Hill game played through the perspective of a locksmith who goes to Silent Hill.
So I guess I liked the dialogue in 2 for the most part. I liked the way that it was delivered, and it was weird.
And let me guess, the one that you didn't like, Angela.
Yeah, Angela. I couldn't stand her.
Yep.
And there was someone gave a pretty believable explanation for why that was.
Because she's Australian?
No, it was, Kyle, do you remember the explanation that someone gave us for why Angela's voice acting in Silent Hill 2 was so weird? Was it because, like, they wrote her as, like, a teenager, but then they couldn't get a teenage actress that they liked, so they just cast her as a 30-year-old person?
No, I don't think it was an explanation. I think we took it as an explanation for why her dialogue seemed weird, but apparently she was written to be like a teenage girl, and just at some point they decided, like, kind of last minute, like, no, let's just make it an adult.
See that? I'll tell you where that comes from. That comes from the Silent Hill 2 making of documentary, where they specifically say that because what happened to her made them want to have her voice actor sound older than she really was. Okay. But let me ask you a question.
Because I did actually watch that documentary, like the thing that came included with the game, like in the UK or something.
Yeah. Oh man, I really want that. That case just looks so cool. I love that thing. Anyway, I'm a nerd. The making of documentary.
I was like, done.
Pretty good.
Cool.
Apparently my girlfriend is expert at breaking into houses.
Oh, shit. Good job,
Only
Nicole.
when necessary.
Oh, she only had to destroy my first library card to do it.
Oh.
Too bad.
You don't even live
I'm breaking
in
up with
Billerica.
her. I'm breaking up with her.
You realize that you're in Silent Hill now, right? Because you just used some random thing on another thing and managed to get it to work.
You combined a camera with a cabinet.
Oh man,
God, fuck that.
You love that shit. Come on, adventure game logic.
Oh, I super hate it. I hate it so much. I like it sometimes, but that was just like a bridge too far, or two bridges too far.
I could tell watching your LP that you liked the Nutcracker. Like you liked that. I could tell. But when it went from like
which one was the Nutcracker?
At the very beginning,
I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, that was great.
Sorry, could you say that again, Bob?
I know from watching your Silent Hill 3 LP that at the beginning you loved the logic behind the using the Nutcracker.
Yeah, we kept making jokes about that. Like, what was it? It was like
we used a Nutcracker to break open like a chain,
and then we used a vice grip to crack a walnut.
Yeah.
And then there was some other thing I think at the beginning of the game. Where you had to like crack something open like a nut, and then there was like some random thing inside, like
There was like a moon inside
a moon
walnut?
pearl or something.
Yeah,
moon
yeah, something
pearl?
like that. Oh god, that game.
But so the thing that I was going to say, yeah, like I had nothing wrong with Angela's like what she was supposed to be. The thing that I didn't like, I just also on top of that, because this is the criticism that we got, was that no, you don't understand. She's like regressed, and she's supposed to be acting a lot younger than she is. Like, no, I get that. I also just don't think that she did a very good job.
But that doesn't make any sense. If she regressed, then why is she acting younger when her voice actor sounds older?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think she mentally regressed.
What we kept saying was that we kept finding that the writing and the acting was very awkward and stilted. And we kept being like, guys, this sounds really weird. And the people watching it kept saying, no, it's supposed to be weird. But like they meant like, oh, like the characters are strange and they're going through weird, they're going through weird mental episodes because they're in Silent Hill and all this stuff. But I think what we really meant was just like, no, this just is kind of like a little awkward, like more like not on purpose.
And I kind of, by the end of Silent Hill 2, I feel like I had kind of, whether or not I believed it was on purpose, I kind of ended up liking the way that the voice acting was and how weird and awkward it was. And that it was kind of endearing in like a Twin Peaksy way.
Exactly.
But by 3, it was driving me crazy how fucking long it was. Like it honestly seemed like 10 or 15 seconds, not 15. It would seem like 5 and 10 second breaks between responses, and it was like really weird. Like I was getting weird. It stopped being stilted and started being like a thing that I was getting impatient about.
Now let me ask you this: when you say all these things, who in particular, which voice actor or which character are you thinking of when you say these things? I'm gonna lock my answer right in my head. Okay. What do you think?
Okay, I'm thinking of three specific instances. There was when Heather was talking on the phone with not Vincent. Who's the fish man in the sewers? Leonard. Talking on the phone with Leonard. That's one instance. The second instance is the conversations between Heather and Vincent, and then the conversations between Heather and Claudia. So basically, all the characters.
Okay.
I was if I had to pick one, Vincent. I would say Vincent.
Yeah. See,
but there's a thing. Vincent was my favorite character in the whole game.
Right, and his voice actor was just weird.
Yeah.
Like, the way that and the mocap, the way that worked was just like his physical performance was,
and his weird teeth.
Teeth, yeah.
See, and this is the problem that comes with this sort of thinking, and by this sort of thinking, I mean the way that you sort of think too much about the flaws and think that they're purposeful, and you don't allow for happy accidents. That when the Silent Hill HD collection, which was Silent Hill 2 and 3 remastered, was coming out, it was announced that the voice actors were going to be redone.
Yep.
And one of the things that people really took issue with was people reimagining these characters and putting new voices to them.
Yeah.
And right after the fact, after all of this stuff was said and done, they did Twin Perfect. Those lovely guys.
I actually wanted to mention. I saw a video that Twin Perfect did of them like comparing old voices to new voices. I meant to mention that when we were talking about that, but yeah, sorry, not to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
They would show a scene in the old dialogue or the old voices, and then show the same moment with the new voices, and then it would cut to them making like horrified faces, like the acting was just terrible. When really the new voices weren't terrible at all; they were just different. Exactly, and
the acting was probably much better.
It was. It did have. I think one of the things they talk about is how with Silent Hill 2 they tried to get people that were not classically trained voice actors or something like that. See, and the new voices are very clearly that. Yeah,
that's an unfortunate thing because, as Keith was saying, you sort of grew fond of the way that especially Silent Hill 2's voice actors, sort of the way that they're stilted acting, the way that it didn't sound like they were pro VO guys, But when they redid them and they got, oh man, I'm forgetting his name too. Guy, BioShock Infinite,
Ken Levine. Damn it.
No, Last of Us.
Nolan North.
No. You jerk! You're quote unquote trolling me, aren't you? I forget his name. Anyway,
Yeah,
they totally sound like they're pro Vio guys. Like it just screams it.
How can you just stand there and eat pizza?
I love that delivery of that line.
Yeah, it's so good. I actually do want to replay at least some of 2 and 3 with the new voices just to see how it's changed. But
you don't even have to play it. You can just go on YouTube and just look at videos.
I want to play it.
So
cool.
so it's weird. Like the things that used to bother me about Silent Hill, like in the first half of 2, the things that bothered me about Silent Hill were like the weird things about the atmosphere and the deliveries, and the writing that didn't make any sense. And now, from the second half of 2 to all of 3, it's totally changed where that's the stuff that I like the most.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I like the least is the actual game part and playing the game. So it's because I got used to it and I kind of started to like it. And now it's like, I don't know if people have just been fooling themselves for years or if the games just super don't hold up, but like going around and unlocking doors and then doors that you're supposed to be going through that aren't on maps and then like super long boss fights with really obnoxious combat.
Right.
Like it's not fun to do.
Well, I mean, there's a reason that the survival horror genre hasn't
dead.
Really, survived. The next gen move, the move to next gen. But we're seeing more first person type stuff. We're seeing more, third person over the shoulder actiony type Dead Space stuff.
Because Silent Hill was definitely kind of the last of the, I'll call them Resident Evil clone type, like at least, in its gameplay type games.
I don't think that anyone has any reservations about calling it a Resident Evil clone. I'm pretty sure that Konami, came out and said that basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so obvious. But I mean, I think Silent Hill was doing Resident Evil longer than Resident Evil was.
Yeah.
So it's like, because you look at Silent Hill 3 and it's such like a good looking PS2 game.
Oh man, it's so pretty.
Yeah, and it's paired with such a, seemingly archaic like control system and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in Silent Hill that I really want to like, but I just like, they just take these super weird design decisions. They make them all the time. Like I remember, Bob, I don't know how much of Silent Hill 3 Let's Play that you've seen, but there's these parts, near the end, just these weird instant death things that happen to you, like the room where the mirror turns black, where it's like, oh, cool, I want to hang around and look and see what happens, and then you die because the door locked, and there's no like, and
then there was even at the beginning, you had the sewer section, lovely sewer level. I love sewer levels. That where you have to throw the electrical appliance into the, I think it was a blow dryer, into the
right.
water.
If you just walk
that.
Up, it'll just grab you.
If you just walk up, you instantly die. Yeah, no, I mean, at least they try to curb that. They tried to curb that one because there was a save spot right outside. But I think the idea that they were maybe going for was to keep you on your toes because anything can happen at any time, and that's the beauty of having a save system, because you never know when you're going to have to reload, and you don't know, like sometimes you'd second guess yourself. Oh, when was the last time I loaded? It's interesting that Silent Hill has a really interesting history with all of their save spots, but that's neither here nor there. It's bullshit.
There's no way that it has an interesting history about save spot locations.
No, not save spot locations, save spots. I watched the latest episode that you guys had, and you, Kyle, you were very, very happy with a giant save spot.
Yeah,
that you could interact
that
with.
was great.
I loved that.
And you remember the end of Silent Hill 2 before the big 2 Pyramid Head boss fight. They actually had those little squares that you used to save. They had a 3x3 cube of those.
Right.
And it's just interesting in the way that they treated Harry's save spots. The little notepad things that he was writing, and used those in Silent Hill 3. It's just the little details like that really it's charming.
I also I like it was Silent Hill 1 the first time that you look at save square, and it's like, or maybe this is 2, and it's like oh, it feels like something's reaching into my brain.
Yeah.
That was Silent Hill 2, yeah.
Yeah, it was 2.
I think Silent Hill 1, Harry's quote was, I better document this in case anyone, like...
Oh, right, yeah.
In case... Well, so
in
the hopes that one day someone will experience these bizarre events. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah. And it's funny because in Silent Hill 3, you do. Oh,
yeah. There you go. I didn't even know.
You do now.
Didn't even know it was gonna happen.
But what were we talking about? Kind of go.
Just the bullshit that it pulls.
Like in terms of the gameplay.
Our experience with the roller coaster track.
Oh man.
God, what a fucking bummer that was.
Oh man.
If anybody is listening to this and hasn't seen it, there's a roller coaster track and we have to walk on it or something. And we go on it. Oh my God, a train's coming. So we get run over and we die. So we reload, shut off. This is later on. We shut off the controls for the coaster so that it can't turn on. Then we go back on the tracks. The train magically turns back on. And in the same spot that we died before, we are now able to escape somehow.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't understand how that makes it off paper and into a game. Like, that's such such failed logic in that scene.
If anything, we would be less ready for a car to come because we had just shut it off.
And in fact, Heather kept having that dream, and at the very beginning, you die in a very similar fashion. So she's going to come to the place where that same exact thing happened.
Yeah, and this not time, be careful.
Yeah, like, no, I'm going to go that way. It's like sometimes they have really good little, nuggets of info for that type of thing. Like, the path makes sense. Like, when you guys tried to leave the chapel at the end of Silent Hill 3, and Heather just goes, nope, not, can't really look back now. And that makes sense. Of course she's like, set in her ways.
And, especially because she's got like a bunch of shit to do in that chapel.
Right, exactly. And then all of a sudden, for that part, it's just like, well, if you do it this way, you forget to jump. you forget that gravity works.
Yeah, especially after, I think it was like the 3rd or 4th episode when we're in the fucking, that nightmare subway.
How did that happen? Like, right before you started that sentence, Keith, I suddenly remembered the subway. Like, I had my mouth open to mention the subway, and I was like, I blocked that out of my memory, the whole subway.
First of all, that is the worst designed thing that I've ever seen in my life, and then also the fucking train thing that we kept on getting run over by trains was bullshit.
Dude, you have no, like, I am like so convinced. Someone brought this up in like a thread that I was looking at for Silent Hill, and I'm convinced that there are like very, very few subways, or like in Japan or something, and they just had no idea how subways worked. So they like looked at some reference things.
Well, they don't have it's not a subway system though. They have a lot of above ground trains. I don't think they have any below ground, really.
No, they do. I remember very specifically in Tom Green's Japanese Subway Monkey Hour, he is fucking with people on a subway.
Of course you do that.
Well, that makes all right. Then then I guess the guy I was listening to was wrong about that. But I like that. So the thing that confused me the most was that they used the up symbol to mean go forward. When I was playing it for the first time, I thought it meant go above, like go up a level.
Yeah, totally. I think we had the same thing. We're like, does it mean up or forward?
I don't know about that. I think that's user error.
Yeah, it might be, but you can't blame user error on how freaking confusing that area was, especially when you guys didn't get the map.
The map was so hard to find.
I know, right? It's just like...
Especially, more Japanese subway proof. If you've ever seen the documentary Your Dreams of Sushi, about that super famous sushi maker,
I've been meaning
his
to watch
shop is
that.
in a Japanese subway.
Right, okay.
Yep, there you go.
I guess that guy was really wrong. But, But, well, then that makes me think even less of Team Silent. How could they have, and not only that, but like the subway is such like nothing happens. Just like, you get
I know.
ran over by a friggin' train, and it's like,
there's so, like, half of that game, nothing happens.
I know.
Yeah, that's at the end of the day, that's our biggest problem with Silent Hill, is that Silent Hill 2 and 3, and Silent Hill 1 had the same problem, but I don't think it was as much of a problem because the systems were fresh and because Harry was just as confused as everybody else.
Right.
And, but in Silent Hill 2 and 3, the majority of those games is just like the pacing is so weird.
I would put
agree
that
with
more
you
on 3.
entirely on Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill 2, I can't agree with you so much because at the very beginning of the game with Silent Hill 2, you get a huge info dump on James and his plight and why he's here and all
That's
that
true.
stuff.
He has a very strange and very simple purpose, but it is a purpose, and it's kind of like even though it's so nonsensical, it at least can explain away any lack of like event in the game.
And
but,
even at the beginning when he's talking
story
with Angela, he's like, I don't care. I'm going there. I'm going there.
Whereas with Silent Hill 3, we just spent like literally the entire first half of the game going, why are we doing this? Where are we going? What is our character trying to do?
We didn't have a purpose until we got to Harry Mason.
Oh, you had a purpose. It was just singular and kind of.
It was get home.
Yeah, and it's like
we didn't even realize that we weren't in Silent Hill.
Right. Yeah, I remember you guys talking about that. Like you didn't even realize that you weren't in Silent Hill, and then when you actually went to Silent Hill, it was like a carbon copy of
Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, they used the same stuff for that actually.
Because I don't think that we were. I think we were not positive that we were in Silent Hill, but we were definitely confused, like. Because it said that she wasn't home and she had to take a train back to her town, so we were like, is it the town that she's in? Silent Hill, or what is the we just like had no idea.
Well, they didn't,
and then it made sense. It all made sense as soon as we got to her house, and there was the scene with Claudia and Harry Mason and the whatever.
I mean,
but like, that was so far into the game.
Yeah, I mean, actually, by the time I wanted to mention this at the end of our last Silent Hill 3 episode that is yet unreleased. But at that point, I had actually forgotten about it, but I was really disappointed with Silent Hill 3 for the fact that there was only like a minute or two of actually walking around in the Silent Hill town, like out on the streets, those were my favorite parts of the previous 2 games. Like I really liked going around on the streets and going through the different alleyways and all that stuff, and it was just totally gone from Silent Hill 3, and I felt like it was sorely lacking. It felt kind of like being out on the street felt like the overworld, and being in like the buildings felt like dungeons, and like Silent Hill 3 just felt like a series of dungeons.
Yeah.
Here's what I meant, Bob, because you disagreed about Silent Hill 2. Here's what I mean about like the pacing was, I think from basically from the beginning of Apartments to the end of the hospital, which are the 2 longest things, not just in Silent Hill 2, but I think maybe in all of the Silent Hill games.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing. There was I remember basically there not being any story at all.
No, there is story, and it's giving,
there's Eddie.
One of the big differences between Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3 is character development. You've got Silent Hill 2 where you say that nothing happened, but I would say that in the Apartments you got more info on Angela and her plight and what's going on with her, and more questions about her because of the mirror room. That. You have you're introduced to Laura, and you're introduced to what she's going through, and that there is a child running around here. And then you've got Eddie, who the hell knows what's going on with that guy?
Yeah, and also Pyramid Head,
which
I forgot about all that stuff.
I love how he was introduced. By the way, I love that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
you guys found him exactly how I found him.
We're talking about like 6 hours of gameplay, though.
Also,
between those 2 levels,
the crux of Silent Hill 2's story, which is Maria, in between those 2 places. So I would say that is huge. Like all of that stuff. And I don't know about you guys, but when I met those characters, I felt for them, and I especially Angela, and I wanted to know like what is going on. Can I do anything to help? Like with Eddie, it was just weird and funny because he's just a fat dude puking with his butt showing, and it was just like, oh, where are they going to take this character? And then the whole thing with the pizza, but then like Laura, and then Angela, and then Maria, and it's just like all these.
Wait, I'm totally forgetting
characters.
Laura.
Laura's the little girl. Remember, she kicks our key, and we're like,
"Oh,
fuck
that
you."
bitch!" Yeah.
Hey.
That's a callback. That's a callback.
Yeah, I remember you guys getting flagged for that one.
Oh, did we? Was that the thing?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
I remember
no.
people getting really mad that you were calling like every girl in any game bitch. So,
No, we didn't do that, did we? No,
I think
that wasn't us.
I think that some people mentioned it.
Someone got mad, or not someone. A bunch of people got mad. In a Sonic video because we said cunt at some point.
Oh,
which fair enough.
yeah.
And then
Nigarath got really mad.
And then did he? I don't remember that. I don't remember him. I don't remember anything about that guy. And then I don't think we.
I miss him now. He was so silly.
I love that guy. He actually did a Downpour LP.
Oh yeah.
Which and Kyle, you were talking about how you liked walking around the town. You might want to try the Silent Hill Downpour because they basically took it back to the exploration roots.
Cool.
And it really plays. I think it played out really well if you really like the exploration, because basically the whole town is just there are a series of weird gameplay things that keep you from exploring all of it at any point. But
okay.
For the most part, when I played it, it felt like a series of little treasure hunts and little it really emphasized exploration, and there are a lot of really neat Easter eggs in that game.
Well,
I love them.
Maybe we'll get to that someday.
Cool. I can't wait.
Anyway, for the most part, we haven't gotten much flack for anything that we've said besides that one case.
Well, I think there was definitely there was a low point in the middle of Silent Hill 2, and I mean low point in terms of for our Let's Play, where we were not enjoying the story, but we were also not paying attention to the game and being successful at it. And people
I was paying attention.
People became very upset with the fact that we didn't care that Maria died, or that we were or we weren't happy. We just were kind of saying Maria died, and everyone was waiting because it was like everyone's favorite scene. And then we got there and we were just like, I don't care about this story. I don't care about this character. And everyone was like, fuck you.
Well, it's one of those things where Silent Hill 2 was my first game.
In the
first
series.
Silent Hill game.
No, literally your first game.
What was my first game? Oh, it was Doom.
Really?
Yeah. My dad had a nice Mac, and we played that. That was fun. Anyways, Silent Hill 2 was my first Silent Hill game, and it was honestly the first game that had a really mature plot that didn't talk down to you.
Right.
And it was really interesting, and being a teenager at the time, not really knowing all of these things about sex and how all these things, really factor into being, an adult. It was really interesting to see a story handled in that way. And for me, some of my most emotional moments in gaming ever were from that game. So coming from, of course I watched your guys' LP, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that I didn't scream at the TV like, "You idiots! Why are you doing this thing properly? Ah, fuck!" But at the same time, it's like you got to learn to, these things they're aged. They haven't aged very well, but you got to learn to separate that stuff. But at the same time, you guys got to understand that people are really wrapped up in these games. They mean a lot to a lot of people.
I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually I mentioned this somewhere at the end. I think probably almost at the very end of our Silent Hill 3 Let's Play. But there was on my ask.fm, which is ask.fm / 19 letters long, all spelled out, like NI, etc.
And is that like a radio station for questions?
Yes, that is where you can tune in and then ask me questions.
Oh.
And someone just asked me about general feelings about Silent Hill series, and I kind of responded.
Would you like me to read it, Kyle? I can read it for you.
I don't think that's necessary, but I kind of responded with this large bit about how I also kind of feel like our judgment of the series is sort of impaired because we never played them in a setting that wasn't a Let's Play. And in a Let's Play, it's, for one thing, we're not alone. So we have a friend with us that we're constantly talking to. And we're also trying to be funny. So we're kind of in a mode to make fun of things. And also, when you're doing a Let's Play, there's no point at which you just tune out and stop paying attention to the time that you're playing, which can really, it sort of softens the blow on downtime in video games, whereas in the Let's Play you feel every moment of the game, which starts to really drag if there's any kind of downtime and that kind of thing. So I do honestly feel that I would like Silent Hill 2 and 3 a lot more than I did if I had just played them by myself.
Right. And
but it's kind of impossible to know.
Yeah, and that's just an issue. You're just gonna have to, maybe play it. When you're doing playing through the HD collection again, just play it on your own. Only play it at night. Turn off all the lights. Just get sit in front of that TV and just see what happens to the atmosphere, because that's the thing that Silent Hill 2 especially has going for it. It's just layers and layers of this thick, foreboding atmosphere.
Fog. Atmosphere.
That too.
I thought we were talking about fog.
The thing that really happened with Silent Hill 2, this weird snowball, was that we weren't talking about our specific problems with the game until pretty late in the Let's Play.
Right.
And then once we did, people kind of got off our case about it. But at the beginning, we were both frustrated with how slow it was going and how so many doors. Checking stuff, and he just goes oh, what's this thing? It's a thing. I don't need this thing. And we were just getting so frustrated with it that instead of, we were probably a lot harsher on the game than we felt, just for the sake of it being interesting.
Right.
And then people would come at us about how, no, the game is perfect. Stop it.
Well,
and then we would get mad that they can't see what was wrong with it.
Right.
So we would get even harsher on it, even though we were already kind of exaggerating how angry we were at the game.
Right, in order to be funny. And I understand that. It's the Let's Player's dilemma.
Yeah, it's almost like
we were always being honest about it, but we were never, we were kind of, we sounded angrier or acted harsher than we actually felt, even though everything that we were complaining about was something we were not liking.
Yeah, and also it's kind of because you're trying to, you're sitting through the whole thing and you're talking over it, so you have kind of nothing to do but pick apart every little thing.
Right. And in a game like Silent Hill, where you have a bunch of really wacky things going on, it can be pretty easy to pick apart something that actually does make sense within what they're trying to do or is trying to be creepy. I remember specifically you guys talking about, I think it was the shopping cart with the handgun in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I hated that.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
But at the same time, that was one of my favorite scenes. That was one of my favorite things about that whole level. Did you notice?
That you couldn't pick up the gun?
No, I could. Well, that was a problem. From a gameplay standpoint, they should have the area to pick up that gun all around the shopping cart. But did you guys notice that the room that's in was pockmarked with bullet holes? The walls were just layers and layers.
I think I did
holes.
Notice that. Yeah.
And
if you talked about it,
if you actually click on the wall, it will say who could have done this. It actually has dialogue options for all that stuff. It's if you just sort of immerse yourself, wholly without questioning every little thing. It's a lot easier to sort of understand why people like it and maybe even like it yourself. But when you're doing it as a Let's Play, and I've had this problem myself because I've been doing more streams lately of horror games, and I've gotten some people getting pretty mad at me for, not giving a game a chance,
right.
Outlast being one, where...
people were mad at you for not liking that bullshit game?
Yeah. And the first one, not the second one.
Wait, is there a second one?
Yeah, Whistleblower, the DLC.
Oh, okay, DLC.
Please don't play it. It's
Don't worry, I won't.
I saw Kyle playing 15 minutes of Outlast a couple weeks ago, and it was just the fucking garbageest thing I've ever seen.
I would say the first hour of Outlast tricked me into thinking it was a more interesting and better game than it really was.
Me too.
And then,
I played
the first hour and then stopped, and then picked it back up and I did it on a stream too. I was like, oh, I'm streaming Outlast. This is an interesting game. Let's see what happens. And then like within 20 minutes, I was like, oh, never mind, guys. This game sucks. I'm never playing this again.
When did you stop?
It was the first point at which the kind of big monster guy from the game starts
what's that guy's name? Like
you.
Dave or Chad or something?
I
John.
think it's Chris.
Yeah.
Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Get the fuck out of here,
so
Chris.
Good. I love that. Yeah.
Chris is not until you just tell. Chris is just someone you tell to go away because they're being annoying.
Yeah.
Chris is a little kid who is constantly pulling on your shirt. And
That's why I kind of
fuck off, Chris.
But you know what? We make fun of it because it's a bad game, but I actually kind of love that I think it's kind of great in sort of a dumb way.
See, that's the thing. Like, if you stopped at that point, you should really go back and play it all the way to the end, because I can tell you that there is a reason why, like, I don't think that is the first game is nearly as bad as Whistleblower, the DLC. And the reason for that is the entire, like, last 30 minutes. Play it. I'm not going to ruin it. I'm not going to talk about it.
I would really wish that you would just ruin it so I don't have to play it.
Do you really want me to? You can take this out of the podcast for spoilers or something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you know what we need to talk about is the science thing.
Oh, right.
The science thing?
It's something that Bob mentioned wanting to talk to us about a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah. I'm conducting a little bit of a science experiment on you guys, and I'm about to reveal it right now. So this is a lot more to do with Silent Hill 1 than Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill 3. It has a little bit to do with Silent Hill 3. But
the good one.
Does this have anything to do with Twin Perfect?
This has to do with the good Silent Hill game. Go ahead.
Let me get back to you on that.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to cause any issues with the science experiment. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What happened at Alessa's house that got her to the hospital in the state that she was in? Do you remember?
Well, she was set on fire.
Okay.
Right? And
science experiment.
And well, I think they in Silent Hill 3 talked about like ritualistic burning, like setting someone on fire for some kind of ritual or rite, and I assume that she was set on fire for that to put a god inside of her or something like that.
Okay.
I honestly basically only remember the fire and that she was burned. So that's as much as I can give you.
Okay. Here's the meat of this experiment.
Okay.
Do either of you remember anything about a boiler?
Well,
boiler. I don't.
Well, we went to the boiler room of the school, right? And then like Alessa's weird ghost shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what that was?
And
do you remember anything else about a boiler? The keyword is boiler.
Now I want to walk away for 10 minutes and like think about it.
I got time. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Just like fucking around with you guys.
No, I don't remember.
It's telling though.
Was there a puzzle? Right? Wasn't there like a weird valve puzzle?
I think,
I'm sure there were several weird valve
in
puzzles.
Silent Hill 3, we turn on a boiler, don't we?
I think at one point maybe. I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on that. But I'm talking specifically about Silent Hill 1. And
right.
Do either of you remember a note talking about a boiler explosion?
No.
Not really.
Okay. So the reason why I'm doing this is because this ties back to the Twin Perfect thing.
Great. Perfect.
And essentially, what the idea is that Twin Perfect made a video series explaining all of the intricacies of Silent Hill 1. And one of the intricacies that they explained was that basically what happened to Alessa in her house was there was some sort of an explosion or a fire, and she was burned.
Okay.
And she was sent to the hospital that where she was cared for. Basically, she was, this was part of the ritual that caused her to, get impregnated with the god and all that good stuff.
Wait, back up on that one?
I'd have to look it up again in order to figure out the specifics of it. But essentially what it is Alessa got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
She got sent to the hospital. Her wounds wouldn't heal.
Right.
And because her wounds weren't healing, she was there was some sort of dark magic going on that kept her like in a state of pain,
suffering,
right? And this caused her, to grow. She had the I forget if it was Samael or something else. I'm pretty sure it was Samael growing inside her.
I think you're right.
Well, these Twin Perfect guys have been saying and continue to say that the reason for all of this is because of a boiler explosion.
Okay.
The boiler explosion theory has been sort of rampant ever since they made these videos, and have been causing a lot of fans kind of aggravation because it doesn't here, how do you guys feel about me talking about this? Like, when I say boiler explosion, and that Alessa was basically, she had used her psychic powers and exploded a boiler, and then that caused a whole bunch of fires where she got set on fire, and then she basically did it to herself because she had these psychic powers.
Well, I thought it was that it was done to her on purpose as part of the ritual. Yeah,
exactly. So
she had psychic powers before she was even in the hospital?
It's actually in the plot of Silent Hill 1 that one of the reasons why they were calling her a witch was because she had...
right. Okay.
Yeah, so she had some,
So she just
creepy
had
stuff happening.
Psychic magic, and they were like, hey, a psychic magic girl is a pretty good person to put a weird god inside of.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
especially a
was...
psychic god person with the same name as a saint.
I think that was
Keith,
there was a cutscene with Dahlia or something.
Dahlia. I couldn't remember her name for some reason.
No, it's fine. So basically why I'm bringing this up is because it doesn't make any fucking sense. And the idea that both you and I got from, Silent Hill 1 and 3 that we still maintain is that there was a ritual fire.
Yeah.
There was a reason that she was set on fire.
Well, why would they mention in Silent Hill 3 ritualistic burning of people if it's not a reference to Alessa? What would that... why would that be in there?
Man. I didn't know it. I don't know.
But why do they think it was the boiler? Just because she's a ghost in the boiler room?
No. Here's the reason why they think the boiler had something to do with it. There was a note. Actually, I could find it.
Oh, you wrote the note?
Yeah, I wrote the note. I wrote Silent Hill.
Oh, it was you.
Oh, that explains why you like it so much.
Do I like it?
Listen, we've got a bone or two.
Questions
I don't
for
know.
you.
I actually don't know.
I'll tell you one thing. Silent Hill 2, I adore that game. Nothing will change my opinion of that game. Silent Hill 3 can eat shit and die as far as I'm concerned. There are so many fans.
What about Silent Hill 1?
Silent Hill 1 was okay. I don't praise it as much as most people because I played it you guys.
We probably would have liked Silent Hill 2 a lot if we played it before Silent Hill 1.
Yeah, I'm sure. But what I really liked about it, I think my biggest problem with Silent Hill 3 is the pacing of it and the fact that what I really liked about Silent Hill 1 was that it felt like it had this really well-paced mystery to it where you started off with one question, which was, where did Cheryl go? And then it kind of felt like it kept building on adding more and more questions the further you went. And though ultimately I think for all of the questions to be answered, we needed to go outside of the actual game because we didn't really get much from it. It didn't explain itself very well. But, Silent Hill 2 had the same sort of thing it had a lot of questions. Maybe we just didn't like the questions as much as the one in the first one or something like that, but it just felt like Silent Hill 3 had so few questions. You know?
I think that I like Silent Hill 2. I like the idea of Silent Hill 2 more than Silent Hill 1.
Right. I do too.
I think all the story stuff was really interesting. I think the world was really cool. I think that the implications of the relationship between James and his wife was super interesting.
Yeah.
Like, all that stuff is great. The problem is that it never, like, it was never a fun enough experience as a game to make me care about, or to make me stop being frustrated enough to appreciate the story. Where Silent Hill 1, because all of the frustrating stuff was new, we were able to forgive it, like, it's the first one. But all of the problems that we had with Silent Hill 1 were never fixed. So it just kept on getting more and more frustrating.
I think another thing to point out is that when we played Silent Hill 1, we just kind of went to this game, we approached this game knowing nothing about it, having no preconceived notions about anything, and we just played it for what it was. Right. Whereas, and Keith and I are two people that have a very hard time with letting go of other people's opinions about a thing, and so
I let other people's love or hate of things really drive the way I feel about it. We went
into Silent Hill 2 with everybody telling us that it was this amazing game, and I think that really fueled our dissatisfaction with a lot of elements of it. It was like, you're telling me people like this?
And you have to factor in the nostalgia factor. You know, you have to understand that, like, this game is pretty old, and people are looking at it through, you know, rose-colored goggles. And or glasses, whatever.
Goggles.
Some people wear goggles.
Whatever kind of face thing you want to put in front of your face.
I got a lot of steampunk friends. Okay, they're rich steampunks.
We all do. We all have a steampunk friend.
But like, Silent Hill 2 was really, really good for its time. Really, really good. I'm not taking anything away from it in that aspect. But people also have a tendency to only remember the good stuff and not really remember.
That's why people are always saying that old music is better than new music. It's like, because all the shitty songs got forgotten.
They don't really remember, like, getting lost a certain part because it wasn't very fun, or, you know, getting incredibly frustrated in the jail area because they didn't know what the hell to do.
And this is my biggest sticking point, is they don't remember what it was like the first time they played it, instead of having played it like 10 times.
Right.
Like, knowing the critical path, knowing where everything is.
Right.
Like, they can't separate how many times they've played it from watching someone play for the first time. And like, oh, you guys are stupid, you didn't even know how to solve that puzzle. It's like, we'd never seen it before.
You're coming home knowing zero about it. And
that's, Kyle touched on something with the mystery of Silent Hill 1 that I think is important, that I guess I never really considered before. I think one of the interesting things about Silent Hill 1 was not knowing about Silent Hill.
Right.
And then it was always kind of a bummer how referential Silent Hill 2 and 3 were to the previous games, because it stopped being, it started being really familiar. Like, Silent Hill became a familiar place. Like, oh, it's Toluca Lake. Like, I don't really maybe want to be able to recognize my surroundings when I'm in a horror game.
Right.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It's the hospital again. I remember the hospital.
Yeah, but it should be noted that in the transition from Silent Hill 1 to Silent Hill 2, you were going from the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2. So it's like a new take on it, and you're in basically a
different
completely
area.
different.
It was a different section,
and you were in a different area of the town.
There was a lot of the buildings and the places and the layout of Silent Hill was changed between 1 and 2. Like, it was not a familiar area, but I mean, like, the tropes of what Silent Hill is.
Right.
Like, okay, this is the hospital level. Here's the blood on the walls and the chain link.
Here are the nurses.
Like, oh, it's chain link.
Here are
now
the dogs.
I know. Like, I remember the first time that we saw the other world, being like, oh, what's happening? And then the first time we saw it in Silent Hill 2, we're like, oh, we're in inverted Silent Hill right now. I get it.
Yeah, like so many jokes about chain link, and you know. In Silent
Chain
Hill
Link,
3,
by the way,
we were
added
literally
to Smash
like,
Brothers. They're replacing Cartoon Link with Chain Link.
Oh my god.
And that's one of the reasons why we're calling it the Great Debate, spelling it Grate.
Oh my god!
Like, as a play on the whole, the aesthetic of the other world.
That's funny.
But No, not really. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh.
I like how you said that. Oh, that's funny. I think it's funny. Anyway, I wanted to get back to the Silent Hill 1, the reason why people believe in the boiler theory.
Okay.
Let me just read you this note. And this is where all of this stuff is coming from, okay? There's basically nothing else in the game that's pointing you toward this, but let me just read it. Here's the first page. Investigation stalled. PTV dealers still at large. Suspicious deaths continue. Like the anti-drug mayor, a narcotics officer dies of a sudden heart failure of unknown origin. Second page. Fire broke out in town. 6 homes destroyed. Charred body of Alessa Gillespie, 7, found in aftermath. Cause of fire currently under investigation. Investigations show source as basement of Gillespie home. Blaze now believed caused by malfunction of antiquated boiler. So
wait, so they believe the note?
Yeah.
That's the thing?
You got it! Oh my god! You fucking... Oh, Jesus Christ. I love you, Keith.
Well, why would you fucking believe a note in a horror game about a mystery?
Well, not only that, but the fucking first page. Investigation stalled. Suspicious deaths continue. Like the anti-drug mayor, a narcotics officer dying of a sudden heart failure of unknown origin. It's starting off saying like, oh, this is like fucking weird. What's going on here? There's something going on. And at the very end, it's like, investigations show source malfunction of antiquated boiler. It's like it's like already telling you. So these
fucking idiot. Listen, okay, I don't know anything with the Team for Perfect people, so take everything I'm gonna say with a grain of salt. These fucking idiots, these stupid, dumb. Oh man, I can't. So they thought they found the answer to Silent Hill verbatim in a note.
Yes, you don't mean Team Silent, you mean Twin Perfect. Yes.
What, did I say Team Silent?
Yeah,
I meant
I think
Perfect.
you said Team Perfect, actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, these fucking Team Perfect over here.
Yeah, I mean that's literally it. They believe this note, and that's that. And people look. And here's one of the things: like, if you believe this, then hey, your opinion of it is just as valid as mine. But at the same time, you have to understand that like this is like not something that's really up for debate because it's like. Right there. It's right there.
Yeah. So because I'm going to go ahead and say that your opinion doesn't matter. You're wrong.
Like
not you, Bob. The people that believe the boiler thing, you're wrong.
We can come to our own conclusions of what like Pyramid Head means in the grand scheme of things. Like
yes, that's true.
Implications
but
of like
the boiler thing.
Like that's just not.
If I could step in and try to explain. See, this note was found in a police station, and it's a police report from a police officer. Who was trying to find the reason for a fire. Mm-hmm. And so he has to work on normal things in the real world, like boilers exploding. And what he can't do is put in a police report, we think a weird witch lady set her daughter on fire for for a ritual to put a god inside of her.
Well, not only that, but if you follow
doesn't work in police reports.
Not only that, but if you follow the implications of the police report itself, you come to the conclusion that something weird is going on and people are being killed.
Right.
So if he says like what's actually going on, that there might be unforeseen repercussions. He might have found a link between the drug PTV and what's happening.
All about the drug stuff from Silent Hill 1. That was super weird.
Yeah, the white flower thing.
White Claudia.
White Claudia.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey.
Yep.
Huh.
Fun.
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to Silent Hill.
Can we, I think we're going pretty long. I think we probably have to start wrapping up, but could we talk about, Claudia a bit?
I guess.
I also want to talk more about TP.
TP?
Yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
The old TP.
The old TP. Well, I gotta use the bathroom and get some TP.
Okay,
I'm back.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, okay. I'm so gullible.
Oh, you actually believe it? I thought you were playing along.
I was half playing along. I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not, so I had a foot in both pools.
So you believe that I needed to go to the bathroom and just grab some toilet paper? Like, hold on, I'm weird. I gotta go be weird for a couple seconds. I'll be right back.
Yeah, be right back. Gotta be a weirdo for a minute. Kyle, what was your question about Claudia?
I wanted to talk generally about her character. I was wondering maybe Bob could clarify some things, because I found myself as I was editing these last episodes of Silent Hill 3 that, for one thing, I think Keith and I didn't do a terrific job paying attention, even at like the last few cutscenes, but also we had such a hard time keeping up with like playing Silent Hill. Like we played Silent Hill 3 over the course of 6 months or 7 months actually. Mm-hmm. So it was a long time. So at a certain point, I think I kind of lost the thread on like who Claudia was and why she was doing what she was doing. Mm-hmm. And she was the main villain of the game. So it was kind of important. I thought it was interesting that at the end, Vincent was like questioning all her weird stuff. Like I think a lot of times we went through Silent Hill making fun of why it all looked so weird and sinister, and then like Vincent is just like, why did you make it this way? This is kind of weird.
Yeah, that was great. Vincent was the best.
In some ways,
So, I mean, he was definitely the best voice actor in the game.
Like, Bob, could you help me out and quickly explain what Claudia's motives were?
Is she just a religious fanatic? Like, she's not
just a religious fanatic. She is, if now memory is suspect. This was a little while since I played it for the, since I played it for, but if memory serves, she's a childhood friend of Alessa's.
Really?
Yeah, actually, I can go and look that up real quick.
Yeah, we can just go to some kind of Silent Hill wiki, I suppose.
Yeah, if you want. Claudia Wolf.
Ooh, Claudia Wolf in parentheses, film. So apparently we have that to look forward to.
Yes, you do.
Are we gonna do? Can we do a Let's Watch with the Silent Hill movies?
When we get to it.
How are we not to it yet? Those are about the first game,
but like
thing, right?
just chronologically, like in order of release.
I guess.
As a child, Claudia was raised alongside Alessa Gillespie.
Okay.
So,
the interesting thing, I guess, about her is that a lot of because there's that tape, and this is just what I am assuming from the tape that you find, but there's a conversation between Vincent and someone, I can't remember who they say that was, talking about like, keep it between us, but Claudia's kind of a nut.
Yeah, that was just, I don't think her name is ever revealed, but she's just a follower of the order.
Yeah, so I like the fact that even this apocalyptic cult that wants to birth a god that will destroy the world and make it a new paradise.
She's crazy.
They're all like, she's out there.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting.
Not all of them. I think that Vincent was one of the people trying to push some of the followers of the order to be like, oh, she's friggin' nuts. Because of one specific line he gives where, I believe in the pleasures of this world. And Claudia is basically trying to, destroy the way that things work as they are now. Mm-hmm. But Vincent is totally into the whole like business side of a cult. He's really into like the money and the pleasures of this world. So
there's lots of money in a cult,
I guess. But there's like a schism between the way that they want the future to go. Like Vincent. Anyway, I'll keep that short and sweet. But Claudia, other than being a friend of Alessa's, I really don't know that much. Not much is revealed, really? I don't think.
See, because maybe I got this all wrong, but I feel like I remembered it like she was like raised as like kind of a daughter of Dahlia or something like that, or like I guess maybe I'm just making
if she was childhood friends with Alessa, she would have known Dahlia pretty well.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm on the Silent Hill wiki, and this is the Silent Hill wiki, and there's less than 3 paragraphs about Claudia.
Yeah, I think at the very beginning, actually, it's right here.
Wait, really?
While she is one of the,
I'm on a different page, and there's quite a bit.
Yeah, you're on the film's version. While she is one of the key antagonists of the game, not much is revealed of her past. So that's the very first.
Yeah. So there's a couple paragraphs about her personality, one about her appearance, a couple about her background.
Yeah.
But then under the Silent Hill 3 thing, under that chunk, there's only a couple paragraphs.
Yeah,
is what I meant.
It's not really that much.
So you said that we were. I thought I was paying attention at the end of the game. What do you think that I missed, Kyle?
I think there were just certain parts that we were kind of talking over, and I don't even remember the specifics of all of it, but yeah, I'm not really sure. We didn't like miss like a ton of stuff or anything. It was just we weren't paying tremendous attention.
And it should be noted that we're doing this podcast before the last episodes of your Silent Hill 3 LP have gone
officially
live.
Dropped.
So I actually haven't even edited that. Yeah.
It makes me really curious as to how you guys felt about a certain scene involving eating a fetus.
Yeah, that was
that was
weird.
gross. That was so. Do you have like as a person that's invested in Silent Hill, do you have like opinions about that besides the fact that it was gross?
I'll tell you that it's the point in the game where I mentally checked out.
Really?
Was there a reason that you mentally checked out?
Because she's eating a fucking fetus.
That's true. It is the fetus of a god.
Of a devil god.
Inherently hilarious. Like it friggin' happened. Oh God.
Yeah, I think like we saw that the fetus on the ground, and I was like, please tell me that is not the aborted fetus of a god. And I was like, oh, it is. I mean,
also apparently fetuses live in your stomach, so.
And you can
right,
from
because that's the thing that happens.
There's a lot of stuff in Silent Hill that kind of breaks the rules of logic, though.
But then again, someone kind of chastised me for saying that, and I'll go ahead and repeat it. But yeah, it is kind of ridiculous to assume that they're actually going to show like a friggin' abortion.
Yeah, I was going to say like
a game.
That would be far more unacceptable. I think.
Yeah, this isn't Ground Zeroes.
Oh man, why'd you have to remind me of that? Oh. God damn it.
It's Silent Hill is Silent Hill.
And Silent Hill 3 it doesn't have that much meat on it. That's one of the things that really got me.
Yeah. It's pretty boring. It's a pretty boring game.
And it's at parts it's just like a tech demo for like the.
It looks really good. It is a really good looking
really
game.
Good.
The faces especially, besides Claudia.
Oh yeah,
whose face looks busted.
They still hold up, you know.
Yeah, they look good.
Well, Vincent's animation on his face and his weird, creepy teeth was weird.
His animation is weird, but I think it fits with the fact that he's supposed to be kind of scary.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be an unknown, and I think the way that he's talking, because if he was straight up lying to you and not being weird, it would be like you wouldn't really get that creep vibe. But the way that he is just like sort of, oh, I'm wacky. I'm not really trustworthy, but I'm saying things that sound legit. Like the whole thing with the, they look like monsters to you.
Yeah, you know? I was just going to bring that up.
I was just about to bring that up.
Did we want to talk about that at all? Because I saw people talking about that in the thread, because they, I think, accidentally started talking about it earlier or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I saw, people theorizing, you know, that like all the monsters were cult members that Heather saw as monsters or something like that.
It sounds like bullshit to me. I think they were monsters,
but
I'm pretty sure. If you're talking about Silent Hill 2, I maybe would have taken you a little more seriously. But
I think it's one of those things. It's a good example of what really bothered me about the Silent Hill dialogue a lot of the times, and the delivery was like when Vincent makes the line about like, oh, what did he say? Like, it's just a joke or something like that. It's like,
it's just a joke.
I don't understand like what the intent is when he's saying that, because like there's so many layers. It's like someone ostensibly wrote this in Japanese, and then it was translated, and then someone read it into a microphone as a character, and like there's so many different layers of like abstraction from like the idea in the writer's head to like what I'm seeing on screen. It's like I can't get through, like it feels like I can't break through to like what is supposed to be what's being said there. Like, am I supposed to be getting that he's being a weird liar, or is he literally just joking? I don't know.
And you have to take into account that the people who are in charge of making this game and the people who are largely responsible for creating a lot of the animations, or the people in charge of, like, you know, the way that the general look and feel of the characters, they didn't, quite a lot of them didn't speak fluent English. So certain things and certain cadences and certain movements had a different meaning than how they do in the States. And you know, a lot of them, when they were listening to this stuff, like, this is all stuff that we'll talk about in the Great Debate, but a lot of this stuff really didn't pass the translation barrier. A lot of it, you know, it comes across stilted and weird because that's just how the nature of translating something from, you know, not translating it literally, but like figuratively taking someone's thoughts in Japanese, someone's culture, and then bringing it over to another culture. I mean, I'll tell you right off the bat.
But that's also something that I like most about, and it got really frustrating in Silent Hill 3 specifically, how long it was between responses. Like, it almost felt like it was waiting for music cues.
Right.
Like sometimes I have to wait like 3 or 4 seconds before saying, like, what do you mean? And then another 3 or 4 seconds before Vincent was like, oh, nothing, or something like it's a lot of empty space.
Yeah. Sort of like the plot of Silent Hill 3.
Yeah. But in general, I do like the weird stiltedness of the dialogue, which I used to not. I kind of came around on it. Also, I'm looking at the Silent Hill wiki. They've got trivia for each of the characters. This is one of Vincent's trivia. One of Vincent's pupils is actually larger than the other for unknown reasons. This small detail may be difficult to spot while playing on smaller resolutions.
Great.
Oh yeah, and if I remember correctly, Vincent's, like, either one of his eyes or both of them don't look at you. Don't look at Heather, or like his.
It looks like his right eye is a little bit cross-eyed. It looks like.
Yeah, it's like
with the smaller pupil.
Like the whole design for Vincent is just untrustworthy. Like, he was built from the ground up to be, like, questioned, like, constantly. Like, is he telling the truth?
He's also modeled after Ethan Hawke.
Sure,
well,
it says.
Also, did you know that the voice actor for Claudia in Silent Hill 3 is the same voice actor for Angela in Silent Hill 2?
No.
Wait, who is also Angela?
Donna Burke. Donna Burke is the voice actor for Claudia Wolf in Silent Hill 3.
Oh, okay.
And Angela Orozco in Silent Hill 2. And this is a fact that was maintained in the Silent Hill HD collection. They used the same voice actor for both characters purposefully to maintain that.
Huh.
That's fun.
All right.
See, Silent Hill is filled with a lot of fun little things that maybe people take a little bit too far.
Honestly, that's why I got into the series. I got into the series in Silent Hill 2. I didn't know anything about the town. I didn't know why it was the way it was. And then I did all this research on the story and played Silent Hill 1 because I was just interested in it. It's got all these little details and stuff, and it's just neat to parse them all.
No, that stuff, there are things that I like that have the same qualities. That's why I liked the earlier Assassin's Creed games had the same sort of thing where I could spend, like, I spent hours on like Wikipedia rabbit holes about the weird stuff that they mention in those puzzles that you can find around the world in 2 and in Brotherhood. And this game has a lot of that sort of thing, but I feel like, not you, but I feel like you take it to a healthy place, Bob. I think that there are people that are taking it 1 or 2 steps farther than you're taking it.
Well, that's nice of you to say.
Well, I mean,
no, I'm not being.
I'm sure
I'm not.
It's the first time anyone's called Bob healthy. I'm sure he appreciates it.
Never, ever.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's forum threads dedicated to his eye being. One eye being a little bigger.
I can guarantee it.
Sure.
I can guarantee it.
It says one eye is bigger than the other for unknown reasons. Like, just because it is.
Yeah, there's not really a lot of room for like errors or mistakes.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that's really the problem with the way that Silent Hill works, because from the very inception of the series, the whole idea was to be vague and to keep the player guessing.
Right.
Because when you don't know what's going on, that's really what is scary. Like, you can have a horror game and be scared of everything when you know like exactly what's going on and you can predict stuff. The whole idea is to be, unpredictable, to be, in the dark, literally and figuratively in the dark.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that Silent Hill did great. But the problem is that it caused people to sort of pick at it and just go into every little nook and cranny and parse everything, even the things that didn't necessarily have answers at the time. Do you think that the Team Silent had like a big tome of every single little thing?
No, of course not. That's ridiculous.
There are some people who think that this tome exists.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a tome. It's a gigantic wall with Post-it notes and pictures and yarn and tacks.
Exactly.
In crisscross. That's what they have. They don't have a tome.
And see, it's these things that like don't allow for people to honestly accept that these games are made by humans who can make mistakes and who are fallible and
sometimes it's not even about mistakes. Sometimes it's about like it just doesn't have to mean something.
Right.
Or it just because part of it means something doesn't mean it all means something.
Right, exactly. And, I don't blame Silent Hill fans for the most part for doing that. I certainly blame, Twin Perfect for being really militant about it and making, like, that's one of the reasons why I can't take them seriously, is because when they take something like the Boiler Theory and then they just browbeat you the entire video and they're just like, well, if you don't believe that this happened, this is what happened, so you're an idiot. Like, they do that for every one of their ideas. They're so patronizing about it. And these aren't the first guys that I've seen do this, The Silent Hill fandom and most fandoms in general have these people who are just like, just dicks.
Yeah.
Well, whether that's on their head or, in their head. But like, it's one of those things where people just need to calm down and allow for people to like interpret things in the way that because we're all coming from different places, it's just unfortunate.
It's basically what we're getting down to is that the Twin Perfect people are mean people that make fun of the developmentally impaired is what it is.
Literally that. Yeah. Homeless. If you're homeless and you have a mental disability, please do not go near the Twin Perfect people, or they will whip out their phones and record you and slap their logo on it.
What was that about? I heard about this vaguely. Do you not want to talk about it, or?
They did it. They're the people who need to answer for their shitty behavior.
Okay.
But, it is kind of over and done with.
So I mean, we've been talking about this a bit, but like, what? I mean, we've already been talking about what the Silent Hill fan community currently is like, but I think we've been talking a lot about how they feel about the older games. Like, what is everyone's opinion about the newer stuff like Homecoming and Downpour and all that stuff? I know people don't really love it, but do they still pick it apart in the same way? Like, I think it's weird that people are still so passionate about Silent Hill when ostensibly nobody's put out a Silent Hill game that anyone really liked since like 3 and maybe 4.
Well, that's part of the problem. It's hard to tell what people legitimately like and what they legitimately don't like when the loudest people are constantly saying or screaming for the series to end. It's hard to really understand what the general reception to Downpour was when you've got these people who are like, yelling at Tom Hewlett for being, the scourge of the earth, and how the guy gets death threats like every week.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it's for this
it's
dumb
really upsetting.
crap,
That's a really unfortunate job to have had.
It seemed to me like he left Konami and there were a bunch of people sort of shouting from the rooftops and cheering about the witch being dead. And my opinion, and again, I don't know a ton about it, but it just seemed to me like no, don't you get it? Like, the last guy that cared about Silent Hill is gone now, so who's going to make Silent Hill now?
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
It's so sad because part of the problem was that the reason why Tom got all this ire was because basically any decision that came down the pipe, from higher ups or whoever, regardless of whether it was a good decision or a bad decision, was blamed on Tom.
Right.
Like, he was the sole, proprietor of all of the new Silent Hill content. And this was a thing that I think was basically set in stone when he took on more of a PR position.
Yeah.
And you can tell that when he came out and he started talking about, the HD releases and all of the new things coming out, that people were just like, they just saw him as like the whipping boy, and they needed to show that their distaste for the new Silent Hill stuff by like treating him like crap.
Yeah,
When in reality he's not a PR dude. He's not. He got stuck in that position because he was the only one who could talk about Silent Hill without not knowing what they're fucking talking about. He was a fan from the beginning. He knows what he's talking about. And when it comes to being a true fan, who do you want talking to you? Some business guy who's talking about like the new graphics and how they're using whatever
Fox engine.
Yeah, like Snowdrop or some random thing. Or do you want like a dude who's honestly just like us, who just likes the games. He's liked them since he was, he first played them, and he's really into the lore, and he's just a nice dude. And then, he gets blamed for all this stuff. And no, seriously, poor fucking Tom.
It's like the other. No, I'm serious. It's like the other edge of the blade, that of like Ken Levine, where people are like, "Oh, I love BioShock. Ken Levine's so good." It's like, yeah, a bunch of fucking people made BioShock. It wasn't just Ken Levine.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, a lot of people made Silent Hill. It wasn't just Tom Hewlett.
Yeah, if you think that games like Diablo 3 they're like really bad in the story area. Some Diablo 3, I think it's called.
Oh, Diablo 3, I love that game.
I keep calling it Diablo. That's how I've always said it.
Anyways,
You're
sorry.
a dick. Anyway.
I know.
You are.
It's a running joke now.
I know. But at the same time, if you think that like there was only one dude writing that, I don't know what to tell you.
No, I mean, anyone could tell from just experiencing the Diablo 3 story that it was written by approximately 27,000 people, and that's why there's nothing of note in it at all.
Yeah. But to get back to the point, which I forget.
Well, I remember seeing, and I don't remember the specifics, but it was some Twin Perfect video, and it was like, they were complaining about something, and just
that's all of them. So
yeah.
How are we narrowing this down?
They complained about something, and they just kind of like brought up Tom as an aside, just to quickly say like, well, obviously this is all his fault. Like, as we all know, everything in the world is Tom Hewlett's fault, and here's another thing that's his fault.
From a Silent Hill fan perspective, and I'm not talking about all Silent Hill fans, there are some Silent Hill fans who are legit and cool. Like, a lot of this SA people are, like, they're just chill, Whitney, who runs the Silent Hill Historical Society, is, like, super chill. She, like, loves talking about this stuff, and she's really nice about it. But you have some people, like the Twin Perfect people, who they're just so militant about it, and they can't accept any other explanation for things.
Well, it seems like them and people like them are just as likely to tell you, of course the boiler theory is right, it says it on paper,
right, as
they are to tell you the opposite about something else. Like, you have to look deeper into it. You can't just accept what's on the paper.
Right.
Like, it's just whatever they think is the right thing, even if it doesn't hold up with whatever else they're talking about.
Well, not only that, but like, they've been proven wrong, like, quite a few times, actually. One of the big ones that they got proven wrong about was in their Silent Hill 2 video, they talked about Eddie being that the person Eddie shot, that he was a football coach, I believe, that he was a football coach. Mm-hmm. And they were called out because one of the things that Eddie says in his monologue is he couldn't play football with what's left on that knee, what's left of that knee.
Right.
And it's like, do football coaches play football? And so people were calling them out on it, and they were like, I can't believe people are like nitpicking that. Like, oh my God. Like,
well, no, he was just talking about a coach who used to play football who's past his prime because he had a knee injury. He can't play football because of his knee.
Yeah, nothing to do with
and
Eddie.
Then Eddie shot him in the head.
Yeah.
In the knee.
In the knee head.
In the knee head. But in terms of the new
killing a person ain't no big deal.
Just put the gun to their head and the newer games like Homecoming and stuff. I won't spoil it for you guys, but Homecoming. You guys played Shattered Memories, right?
Yeah.
Kyle played it almost twice, and I played the first, probably third or half.
Mm-hmm. Well, that game has a bit of a stigma in the Silent Hill community as being one of those games where people are like really crazy about either loving it or hating it. Like, you can't really find anyone.
Oh, we've only seen that second.
Yeah.
You can't really find anyone who's just like about it. And I think that you guys
we both like it. Kyle really likes it, and
my introduction to people's opinions on Silent Hill Shattered Memories was I saw Voidburger's LP just in the Something Awful subforum, and I saw just that the title of the thread was making fun of the game or something like that. I don't even know if I went into the thread, and I just mentioned in our Sonic Adventure LP, like, I think someone's doing a Let's Play of Shattered Memories, and I think they're making fun of it, and like, if that's true, that's not cool, because that game's really good. And then just a million people in our Sonic thread was like, you are very wrong about that opinion. So,
which is weird because it's your opinion. Like, that's one of the things that actually Twin Perfect did in their Shattered Memories review, or they just shit on it the entire time. Like, they have nothing good to say about it, or at least very few things to say about it, and they don't allow for And this is one of the things that I think Voidburger especially would say basically that. She's kind of rescinded her caustic views of the way that she was treating that game, especially when she was LPing it. I think that she's more like willing to accept other people's opinions that it was a good game. It's just she's allowed to hate it. You're allowed to like it. It's copacetic, but like a lot of the problem with the current Silent Hill community is that like just no one can get along. Like, no one can like talk to each other about these things without just like freaking out on each other. And
this whole conversation is making me so glad that Sonic doesn't have lore.
Wait, you think it doesn't have lore?
It doesn't have lore that people that it doesn't have the type of lore that people can debate about.
Hold on. I've just had the Claudia Silent Hill wiki page just open over in the corner of my screen. I just happened to look over and realize that in the stats underneath her picture, it says cause of death, birthing of God. Which I thought was nice.
Yeah, they have fun.
I wonder what it has for.
But I think we've pretty much reached the end. I think we've discussed a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. Sure have. But in terms of Shattered Memories being a newer game, it's not really that new now. But if you're talking about like,
I'm sorry, say that again.
Downpour. Mm-hmm. You should definitely play that if you're interested in the exploration aspects. And this is one of the things that I was saying before.
Well, I'm definitely gonna look at all of these games because I'm in too deep at this point.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait. Play of them all.
Silent Hill 4, and I think I said this during one of your streams, is that it's definitely got the creep factor down. Like, some of the creepiest moments in Silent Hill are for the whole Silent Hill series that I've ever had are from Silent Hill 4. Like, even the trailer is like perfectly creepy, and
cool.
Like, it's.
I'm pretty committed to doing four. I don't know if Kyle is totally.
I am not ready to commit to doing a full Let's Play of it, especially because it's supposed to be longer than any of the first three. But we're definitely going to do some kind of video content of it. Like I mentioned this before, like what we did with like Digimon World was we did like a one-off video of like playing an hour of Digimon World, and then at the end we decided to do a Let's Play of it, so then we like just started over for the Let's Play, and we could do something like that.
Yeah, like stream the first like hour or two of it, see if you're into it, and yeah, that makes sense.
But it's pretty late, and I have to get up pretty early in the morning tomorrow for work, so I think we do need to wrap up. But thank you very much, Bob, for coming and talking all about this stuff with us.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
Talking way too much. No problem, guys.
I'm sure we'll do it. We'll talk more about Silent Hill in the future at some point, somehow.
Yeah. Do you guys want to close on some trivia? Some Claudia trivia?
Sure.
After Claudia swallows the god fetus, its form takes on similarities to Alessa. This is likely due to Claudia's belief that Alessa was the savior of mankind. The face looks almost identical to Alessa, and the lower half may represent Alessa's immolation, and how Claudia may have once thought her dead.
Or how about this fact? This is one of my favorite facts.
Okay.
You see, Keith, they're not called bat vultures, they're called air screamers, and they're Alessa's interpretation of the pterodactyls as depicted in one of her favorite novels, The Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle.